We can use the horizontal line test on the graph of f of x to determine whether or not it is one-to-one. If a horizontal line passes through more than one point on a graph, the graph does not define a one-to-one function. For example, let's graph the function and use the graph to find the graph of its inverse function. G of x equals x squared plus 2. Without the extra condition of x being greater than or equal to 0, we can think of that as the basic quadratic that we're familiar with. This particular graph fails the horizontal line test, meaning it doesn't have an inverse. But if we take into consideration the extra condition of x being greater than or equal to 0, we can remove this portion and just look at the portion where we have the domain restriction. X is greater than or equal to 0 now, and it passes the horizontal line test, which means it has an inverse. So we can use these points 0, 2, and 1, 3 to get G inverse. To do that, we simply switch the x and the y values. So 0, 2 will become 2, 0, and 1, 3 will become 3, 1. And we draw that curve. Looking at the graphs, we can find the domain of G. The domain of G, remember, are the x values. So we have 0 to infinity. The range of G are the y values, 2 to infinity. And then the domain of G inverse, again, x values, 2 to infinity. And then the range of G inverse, 0 to infinity. Notice that the domain of G and the range of G inverse are the same. And then the range of G and the domain of G inverse are also the same.